So I have no idea who this individual is, and, fairly passionate about what he heard about what was being described about Anne Widdecombe. Okay, in its entirety, I've no idea who this guy is. Let's play this.
You ugly, trans bastard, yeah? No one would want you as a man.
I'm guessing he's not in the UK, so therefore has more confidence being able to say things, because we're in the UK. You can quite literally, sexually abuse people and not get jailed, but hearty words.
Woman, you ugly, horrible thing!
And on the day this awful news was released, you have a former Labour MSP who's now in the Greens Party commenting the above and the below. And I quote, "And some good news for once. I hope it was an extremely painful death and I hope she was handcuffed to the bed as she screamed with agony." The UK left never fails to shock me with how callous and heartless they are when it comes to the deaths or the murders of people they disagree with. We saw it.
Remember, the Love and Light Brigade, the Be Kind, remember?
With Charlie Kirk, and now we're seeing the Anne Widdecombe. I don't care how much you dislike a person, I don't care how much you dislike someone's views, to actively celebrate their death and wish the worst upon them.
I have people that come onto my YouTube channel that I still really respect and always would recommend their channels. We just don't necessarily agree on things, Hey, I'm just talking early Gen X here. Up until about fucking 40 years ago and a wee bit more was the default for most people.
Is mentally deranged. It's so disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And I look at this. I really do. The 6th of July this year, Nigel Farage's daughter has, what was it, something 300, that car? Yeah, it's like a gangster car. It's, have you noticed in the last few weeks that certain political parties have been, demonized beyond belief, and they're getting pressure, and, the goal justifies the means, yeah?
Really, there's an establishment blob that all works together and is quite effective for being, is sort of more effective for being loosely coordinated instead of directed top down.
This is from Leo Kerr's channel.
A dictator. And you can see, at one point in this video, you can see this guy just going out of sight while the journalist walks up to the door. The cameraman goes just out of sight.
And this was the 6th of July, and 2 days later we find out that Anne was murdered. I'm not saying the two are connected. The point I'm making is that certain parties are being really demonized. And, look, while people are saying, believe me, I'm no fan of Farage, but I don't give a flying fuck if he got £5 million to help sort out these security issues, especially when the government went, you know what, you don't need any. Yeah, I couldn't care about that. I am definitely a Rupert Lowe fan, without a doubt. But this is wrong on so many levels, right? And this is the 6th of July, and 2 days later, Anne Widdecombe, the same party, is bludgeoned to death.
Right, so he can take photos of whoever answers the door. And this is, Farage's daughter's home. And there's the cameraman just getting into a sneaky position in the bushes, hiding in the bushes to take a photo of Farage's daughter. So Sky, after flat out denying that they'd harassed his family, they backtracked. I mean, what were they going to say? This is just an unusually persistent milkman who takes a cameraman with him to record his...
I mean, honestly, I'll leave you a link to that. Honestly, it's absolutely disgraceful. And Sky News...
Nigel Farage. Oh my God. Hang on, wait a minute. We're not talking about hounding, and we're not talking about banging on the door. Both of which are distortions of the truth.
Let me make my point.
I think it is. No. Before you make false assertions about what happened,
Nothing I said is false.
I think that
It was Sky News.
You're asking me a
Sky News
question.
initially did.
I am saying that
when it was 100%
I am saying that journalists.
anyone trust this
I'm saying
channel when he lied about
journalists
it?
are entirely entitled to make inquiries. It's not against the law.
Kids?
It is not against the law.
Kids?
How old is Nigel Farage's daughter? I don't think she's a kid.
Of their children? You think it's perfectly legitimate?
Let's lower the tone. The point of the matter is that
Sky News is low.
Let's lower the tone. They create the tone.
We're going to bring about real change in this country, and Nigel is going to test that with the people.
I'll repeat. We've got half the fucking... Honestly, we are dealing with conservative light and reform. But when you are looking at people being doxxed and now dying... Seriously. Can we just take a step back and realise, look at these psychopaths. It's the goal justifies the means, which is ultimately occultism. The goal justifies the means. It's not about right and wrong. Honestly, he's there in plain sight.
People of Clacton, and I'm sorry, Sky News, bang on the door of his kids if you must. I personally think that's disgusting, but you're not going to stop Nigel from standing in this by-election.
So we're focused on Nigel, and I've always said they're making plans for Nigel. XTC, what was it, 1979 possibly, 80? Think about this. And I think about this. I think this is what people really struggled with. Think about what this lady is saying here.
These days, and it's why we have now such a low quality parliament on both sides of the house. I mean, it's really low. And it is because for about 25 years now, the major parties at any rate have selected by identity rather than merit. And I've actually seen this up close, firsthand. So they give priority to women, to people of ethnic origin.
This is why I would argue, no matter what, we may not agree with everything, but she was a classy woman. Abso-fucking-lutely, because she said what the sisterhood didn't want to be, well, made known.
Have selected by identity rather than merit. And I've actually seen this up close, firsthand. So they give priority to women, to people of ethnic origin, to gays, to whatever it might be. They're interested in quotas. Now, in our day, it was merit.
That says everything about the individual. Merit. I mean, absolutely. Oh, let's just say, yeah, if she was a ball buster, well then fair fucking play to her. She respected men and women. What she didn't fucking like was just because of your sex you got in, not about ability. I fucking respect that beyond belief. And I say fair play to the lady. And what was done to her was fucking a disgrace.
And, the women had to take on the men and they had to beat the men. There was no question of, well, you get special treatment. The result was, you had your Thatchers, and on the other side of the house you had your Shirley Williams, you had your Barbara Castles. You had people of real substance. And
Oh, God fucking bless this lady. Yeah?
I think of the big chancellors of those times, people like Nigel Lawson. I mean, you look round now, and there's nobody of that quality in the House of Commons because they've come through a completely different route. And I think the worst manifestation is, and the Tories have an A-list, so I mean, I criticise them as well. But the worst manifestation is the Labour Party's all-women shortlist. So if you're a man who's lived in a particular constituency all your life, you've been to school there, you've brought up your own children and sent them to school there, you've used the local hospitals, you've made an impact in the community. Oh no, you can't stand for the seat because it's reserved for a woman. That, to my mind, is a complete nonsense, and it's what guarantees low quality.
I would argue, when you think about it, well, couldn't be allowed. Imagine. Seriously. Imagine. I have a lot of respect for this lady. The balls to say this. I mean, fucking fair play to her.
And the first time that we had women as a result of positive discrimination was Tony Blair's first parliament. We could all tell who they were. We used to sit there on our side shouting out positive discrimination because they simply just didn't perform like the others performed. And I vividly remember about 6 months after they all came, 101 of them. You might as well have had 101 Dalmatians, quite honestly. So 101 of them.
I'd love to have given her a big hug. Honestly, I might not have agreed with everything about her, but by God, I'd rather have people like her. Fucking yes.
These new female MPs coming on the Labour side. And one of them came up to me in a corridor in the Commons and she said, Anne, isn't it horrible how the men are so rude to us? And I said, yes. And isn't it horrible how they're so rude to each other? And she hadn't thought of that. She'd just been roughed up in the chamber. She thought it was because she was a woman. In fact, it was because she was useless.
You know, so people watching.
And then fucking interviewers like, what do I do with this?
In this now, we've just heard you say that you've seen it yourself, that happened to people who chosen.
Yep.
So what have you seen that for you makes you think that is happening categorically?
Oh, categorically, it's in the party rules.
Listen, I absolutely would say that Anne Widdecombe is somebody, whether we agree or not, is somebody we should all fucking well and truly embrace. And you know what? That might have cost her her life. Seriously. What she said there.
And I was at a selection meeting when the selection committee wanted to put 4 people on the shortlist, 3 men, 2 women. 3 men, 1 woman. They were told they couldn't do that. They had to have 2 men, 2 women.
This is cops. This is police. Remember, have to have a certain amount of women. That'll only be so much compared to 40 years ago. Big strapping fucking lads.
And we said, well, hang on, the next woman down is a long way back. There are men in between. No. So I said, are you telling us, and I actually said this to the Central Office agent, Tory Central Office agent. I said, are you telling us we can't select on merit? And he was very honest. He said, yes. And I said, okay, supposing we do. He said, I'll invalidate the selection.
Wow.
So I've seen it. I've seen it at first hand.
I would argue that's a lot of the reason why she's no longer here. I would say. And it's a damn disgrace.